Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode 207 of How I Built It, the podcast that asks, how did you build that? Today, my guest is, I'm so terrible because I just asked you how to pronounce your last name, Kristin Molenaar.
You got it. Yeah, Molenaar. Yeah.
Excellent. I'm excited to be talking to Kristin Molenaar. She is the founder of Yes Boss, and we're going to be talking about why being a podcast guest is ineffective for many entrepreneurs. But before we get into that, I do want to tell you that today's episode is brought to you by three fantastic sponsors: MindSize, Restrict Content Pro, and Text Expander. You will be hearing about those fine folks later in the episode. Right now, let's bring on our guest. Kristin, how are you?
Hey, I am doing well. How are you?
I am doing fantastically. Like I said, I'm really excited to talk about this because I do feel like for a long time, I didn't take advantage of the fact well enough that I was going on other people's podcasts and trying to build my audience and things like that. I know that a lot of my guests, like this is a platform for them. Basically, what we're trading here is you are giving me some of your time so I can create good content, and I am putting you in front of my audience. And so I want you to, have people get in touch with you and stuff like that. So hopefully this will be a good reference for future guests on this podcast and others. But before we get into that, I just said before we get into that like 3 times, I want you to tell people who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I run a company called Yes Boss, and we're a podcast booking agency, essentially. So we help mostly service-based entrepreneurs, so online service providers. We help them get booked on podcasts so they can generate more leads in just an hour a week. So, my zone of genius is talking. I like to talk for a living, and we help other clients who like to do that exact same thing.
That's fantastic. And I've got to say, you do a good job. I get lots of guest pitches each day. And I have a pretty strong litmus test for if I'm going to respond or not, or if I'm going to accept the guest or not. And you passed not once, but twice or thrice, I think, at this point. So you've
testament to our service, huh? Thank you for that.
Absolutely. Because, you get the pitches and it's like, hi, name, I'm person. And then like 5 paragraphs about why they're so great. And I'm just like, I don't want you to just I want to bring value to my listeners. So I don't remember exactly what you said in your email, but I read it and I was like, I think this will be insanely valuable for both me and my listeners. So,
well, I'm excited. Yeah. There's definitely a formula there. There's definitely a lot of testing we've done with those pitches. So I'm so glad to hear your thoughts on it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And and thank you for taking the time. Like, I feel like you've listened to the show and you knew exactly like what I wanted to talk about. So you don't have to say whether you have or not, but I felt that way at least. So you are a podcast booking agency. There is definitely a lot of value in that. So maybe before we get into the main thing that we're talking about, why should more entrepreneurs go on podcasts?
I would say that it's like the simplest sales funnel I've ever built in my whole entire life. I feel like as entrepreneurs, especially if you're an entrepreneur that has ever been on Facebook, you're going to be hit with a lot of messages about how to do all the things, right? And I think what took me a while to really learn, because when I first started in this entrepreneurial journey, I was like floundering for 14 months, and then I found a rhythm that really worked. And what I really found is it all boils down to having a sales funnel that hits a few like check marks. So at the top of that sales funnel is, how are you getting visible? How are you attracting those people? How are you then nurturing those people, selling those people, and retaining those people? So that's like, just this basic like sales funnel strategy. And there's all these ways to do that, right? There's like ads.